Good morning, everybody. So today I want to get back into my grimoire. I've been feeling very inspired about a particular topic, and I want to talk about that while I show you this process unfolding. So let's get started. So to start off, I had to find a page that I wanted to work on. The topic of today's grimoire setup is going to be about taking up space, and how maybe sometimes we don't feel like we can, for whatever reason that may be. So I wanted to create a base to this page that made me feel spacious and expanded. So I'm starting on a page that's a pen type watercolor that I did sitting in a field one day. I remember how I felt the day that I painted that page, so it really lends itself to this feeling of expansiveness and kind of limitless expansion. This paper I'm using was a notepad that was thrifted. I feel like the clouds also lend themselves to kind of a flowing, expansive energy, because clouds are always free to go wherever they want to. That's an energy I'd really like to connect with more. Being a Gemini, I do have an affinity for the energy of the air. I have quite a bit of air in my chart, as well as earth and water, but air is definitely dominant for me. And sometimes I forget that, and I don't really connect with the energies that I normally should. This page is helping me to reconnect with that energy. It's always great to have extra magazines around to use as collage materials. I wanted to layer my cloud effect on the right side of this page, so I just grabbed a magazine and cut out a picture of some clouds. Also, it was nice to see the cows on that page as well. I wanted to make sure when creating this page I had enough space on the page itself. I know I have a tendency, as you can see on this human design page, to pack my grimoire filled with information. This is a page that I'm likely not going to write anything else on, other than what I do today. And it's going to be a constant practice for me not to fill it in with more information. What originally sparked the idea for this grimoire page was me doing a little bit of shadow work. I asked myself why I write so small. And while yes, I would tell myself in a conscious way with my brain that it's because, it's more environmentally friendly, I use up less paper this way, there's less waste, I preserve my materials longer. But I realized that that kind of came from a scarcity standpoint, so I dove into that some more. It turns out that I have a fear of taking up space, and I think that this is a pretty deeply rooted belief I've held for quite some time now. And I'm so glad I have the opportunity to overcome that and expand through it. After asking myself this initial question, a whole bunch of other shadow work prompts came to mind about where else in my life I make myself small. And I found that that's also the case with the clothes that I wear. If it were up to me, I would wear a regal style muumuu every day. So out of this lesson, I'm also taking away the point that I need to get some more muumuus, or house dresses, I suppose. Whatever you'd like to call them. Now I'm making this space cloud here, and it turns out I didn't really like this one, so I end up redoing it later. But I kept this in to make sure that everybody knows it's okay to evolve your process and do something wrong, and then do it over again. I remember doing this and trying to convince myself that I liked this cloud, but I knew deep down I didn't. It's nice to have little pieces of paper to use as collage materials, because you can write on them, and if you know where they came from, you can carry that energy into the words that you write on top of it as well. It doesn't have to be an intentional practice, but it very well can be. So on this page here, I'm using some gold foiled paper as the base for a lot of my words. I feel like whenever I add a gold foil to my page, it draws my attention and my energy to what word is on top of that. So it's a nice way to emphasize certain ideas. Ideally, the more important ones on your spread. So you can see now that the phrase I've chosen for this page is, I can now take up space. I phrase this affirmation this way because of some Pinterest pictures I've seen. I feel like adding the word now, like I can now do a thing, is almost granting yourself permission in a declarative way. It's acknowledging that you may not have felt that way before, but in this now present moment, you are able to feel that way and reclaim that. The artist who writes these affirmations this way, her name is Azja Boros. I'll link prints of her artwork down below. I'm very inspired by all of her imagery and the way that she phrases her sentences. I feel like they're very powerful. So check her out if you need some practice with writing your affirmations. And here you can see I'm debating about this space, and I find a better solution. So I decided to use this Tombow pen and to write the word space in very flowing letters with flowing and kind of scratchy brush marks. This made me feel expansive and it made me feel like I could take up as much space as the air would allow for me to expand into. And I used my fountain pen to define the word a little bit more. It's at this point that I take a step back and I look at my work and think about what needs to be added to it as a whole. And as you can see, I wanted to define the edges a little bit more. When I make these affirmation pages in my grimoire, I really like to focus on the fact that it's me. It's all about me. It's about my problems and how I'm growing as a person. It is I that can now take up space. While I use a glue stick right now, I do have plans to figure out how to make wheat paste glue. I'll have to figure out how to do it in an acid-free way so it won't eat at what I glue with it. And here I have my dictionary definition all cut out. I'm gluing a little bit of a golden drop shadow to it. I wanted to add a little bit of a shadow to the word space, as if it was a part of the clouds, swirling wherever the wind takes them. When you finish a grimoire page, a great way to seal in the intention and to make it more official is to burn a seal into the page itself. So I got this seal set in Goddess Provisions box for February. This is the perfect application for that. Even the colors match perfectly. So while this wax is melting, I'm thinking about how I feel the energy of taking up space and how that feels safe to me, and how I have healthy boundaries that allow for me to do that. And I hold this intention and I continue to feel this way as I apply these seals. I really like this golden seal. Even the seal design with the eye and the moon are perfectly paired for this. I can see now that I can take up space. And since these wax seals aren't made of beeswax, I feel like I wanted to add a little bit of my wax of choice to the situation. Let's see how it turned out. So here's the final product. I really love how this page turned out. I'm still grappling a little bit with the fact that there's so much empty space, but that's a part of the point of this, and I need to remind myself of that. So here it is on my altar, reminding me that it's okay to be fully myself. I thought this definition of space was really interesting, and that's why I added it to the bottom. A three-dimensional entity that extends without bounds in all directions and is the field of physical objects and events and their order and relationships. That sounds an awful lot like God to me. Or the Higgs field, I don't know. If you like how this page turned out, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more Grimoire with me videos. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!